Hello, my name is Michael Willer, and this is $5 Flicks. We're going to be talking about the top 5 tips for getting your film fucking made, whatever it costs. This is your co-host Hobbs, and let's get started. And I'm going to be doing a little work while we talk. I hope you don't mind. So the number one tip that I want everyone to remember is choose a story that you would die if you couldn't tell. What is the story that you absolutely have to express no matter what? If you want to actually get something made, something that people will pay attention to and get it done, it has to be something that you are so passionate about that you can't sleep at night without thinking about it, that it keeps you up because you keep thinking of ways to do something cool or to tell a story in a different way or have a character do something totally unique that you've never seen before. Adobe kills me every time, just so you know. Fucking Adobe. Number 2, pick a shoot date and stick to it. Just throw a dart at a board if you have to. The only way to get people to believe that you're actually going to do your movie is if you tell them when you're doing your movie. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, and a lot of times you want to wait for the right scheduling and, for the actors to say when they're available and whatever locations. But the thing is, everyone's waiting for you to tell them when to go. And nobody's going to just come up with the perfect schedule for you. The only way to get other people to get on board is to say, hey, we're doing this on Friday. Are you on board? And a lot of times, even if people aren't free, if they're interested, they will join you. They'll figure out how to make it happen. And you can even kind of get a sense of who's going to be the most involved in your project based on how easy they are to schedule. Obviously, that's not always the case. A lot of times you just have to bring people in who are very talented, whose time is maybe worth a little bit more than yours or the project is willing to pay for. But if you pick the day, it is infinitely more likely to actually get made. So just throw a dart at a calendar. So the next thing I want to talk about, number 3, is wait for nobody. And this is kind of related to number 2, but the basic idea is that if you give other people permission to tell you when to stop or go, you're always going to be given hiccups and hurdles. And there are always going to be other people saying, well, wait, have you thought about this? Or are you sure you don't want to do this first? Or what about another rewrite? I don't know if the dialogue works here, blah, 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 blah. But it's always going to be something. It's always going to be some level of speed bump, which a lot of times that can be fine, but it will always slow you down. And I have found that one of the most important intangible things about making a movie and actually getting it done is momentum. How do you keep momentum? And if you start by picking a date and you tell people, hey, I have this movie, I'm doing it now, you have a ticking clock now. And if you give other people permission to tell you when not to do it or to stop or to slow down or whatever, your momentum will die and everyone else around you will sense that. Do not give anyone else the power to tell you when to stop or go. You have to be your own driver. This next one is a little more obvious, and I know people have said it before, but it bears repeating. Use the resources you have. Use the things that you know that you have available that will make your short powerful and effective and unique, and don't worry about the things that you don't have. I mean, it's a lot harder to make something with resources that you think you have to acquire versus resources that you already have available. And sometimes it can be as simple as a prop. Sometimes it's just a sombrero. Sometimes it is a really talented actor that you think could carry an entire scene by themselves on their own in one shot. Sometimes it's just using, your location. I've shot a short in this room before because I think it kind of looks cool and I put a lot of work into setting it up to look nice. It's called Care Infection. I'll probably do a series of mistakes video about it at some point, although it's the most recent short, so it won't be for a while. Point being, if you start with what you've got, you have a whole bunch of yeses in front of you. You have a whole bunch of reasons to do something. You have a whole bunch of, yes, I've got this, yes, I've got this, yes, I've got that. Great. Check those all off the list and you have positive momentum now. If you start with a script and the script is requiring you to, shoot on top of a mountain, great, that sounds really cool and beautiful, but can you get there? Can you get your crew there? Can you get your actors there? Sometimes the answer is yes, and then go for it, hell yeah. But if the answer is no, if you don't have the gear for that, if you don't have the ability to pull that off, where are you gonna go from there? Start with the things that you have access to, because then you have a whole bunch of yeses keeping you going. And the last tip is probably the most frustrating one because it's not something that you can just pull out of a hat. Tip number 5, do it yourself. If you find yourself being slowed down by any part of the process, or you're waiting on somebody else to be able to tell you how to accomplish something. You're waiting on your cinematographer to tell you what kind of camera they can give you, or waiting on your actors to agree to the schedule that you've got going on. If you're able to, do it yourself. I'm not saying that you're going to get the best result that way, but you'll get your film made that way. And you'll learn from it, and then the next one will be even better. And eventually you'll be able to just do this without even thinking. I mean, that's how I got started. I was making movies with literally no experience whatsoever, except having made movies before, built on that, learned from the experts around me, continue to do things myself. Again, this is not the perfect way to do it. This is not the perfect way to do it, but if you can't afford to bring everyone else in, or if the process of bringing a bunch of other people in is slowing it down to the point that your movie's never going to get made, do it yourself. Learn. There are 1,000 different tutorials on YouTube for certain things, how to use your gear, how to use Premiere. Don't use Premiere, use Resolve. If you can do it yourself, there's nothing stopping you. There is no reason not to do it. So this guy, people dancing in pink on the screen behind me. I do a lot of work for the Boston Gay Men's Chorus. Shout out. They're awesome. They change lives, hearts and minds with their music. But sometimes they also have guys dancing in pink tutus. So there you go. This has been the top 5 tips for getting it fucking made. I hope it's been helpful. I'm going to come back with much more detailed, in-depth things. This is more of a down and dirty, like, what are the things you need to focus on, and then start there, and I can take you into more detail in some of the other series that I'm going to be working on. If you appreciated this video, give it a like. Feel free to subscribe as well. I'm going to have a recommended video somewhere around here, and I will see you next time.